Hi, Fashion Dolls. It is Transformation Tuesday, March 25th, and welcome to an all new episode of Style by Stevie. Our very special guest today is a renowned actor and film director, and I'm super excited to have him here in the dollhouse. Without further ado, please, Fashion Dolls, join me as I welcome to the dollhouse John Meggingson. Please forgive my tardiness. Let's get it. Let's get it. Ooh. I hope everyone is doing well today on this beautiful Transformation Tuesday. Please forgive me if you see me over here fanning because I am not trying to melt. Hi, Anthony. How are you? And make sure you guys go and check out that interview. We did our interview last week and it was pretty awesome. So make sure you guys go and check that out. Give me one sec. Let me add John. Welcome, welcome everyone. Welcome as you come in. Again, forgive me if you guys see me over here fanning because I am not trying to melt. Uh, it says you're unable to join. Make sure that you're updated and then swipe out and come back in and see if that will work. Give it a minute, Fashion Dolls. In the meantime, between time, make sure you guys go and check out my interview with Anthony. It was a pretty good interview. And we just touched on how women have been influential. And you know that March is Women's History Month. So make sure that you guys go and check out the interviews throughout the week. Some great conversations, all of that and so much more. Give it a minute. Let me see. John, let me know if you're ready. Let me try now and see if it'll work. Go to Play Store and see if it will add you. If you update it, John, that's probably why you're not able to get in. That's crazy. That is so crazy. You sent a request? Okay, let me try. If not, then I'll start a new live and then come back and see if that will work. And if not, then make sure that you go to Play Store and that the app is updated. Because sometimes if you haven't been live on IG, you have to make sure that you're updated. Let me see. Okay, what I'm gonna do is it says you're unable to join, John. Go to Play Store, go to Google Play Store and make sure that you're updated. What I'm gonna do is come back, give it a minute, Fashion Dolls, and then I will add John and we'll have this interview up and running in no time. Please forgive me for my tardiness again. I had to cool myself down. I had to make sure that everything was set up. Okay, let me try now. There we
There
are,
you are.
finally.
How you doing?
I am doing wonderful, trying to stay cool over here and not melt. Welcome to
I
the
hear you.
dollhouse. Yes. Okay. Fashion Dolls, he is here, John Meggingson. It's like an echo. I hear an echo.
I'm getting that too.
Okay. Jump out and then come back and see if that'll work. Okay, I'm gonna add John back, Fashion Dolls. Let me try now and see. If not, then make sure that you get some buds. Do you have any buds? Is it an echo now? It's
Um,
still like an echo.
still have an echo?
Yes.
I don't have any earbuds. Let me try to close the window.
Give it a
Still getting.
minute, Fashion Dolls. Welcome as you come in. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Is that
Okay,
anything?
it's still like an echo. I still hear an echo.
Yeah, I don't have any headphones or anything I can plug in.
Okay, so we'll just go with it. We'll just go with it.
Okay.
So welcome to the dollhouse. It is such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for
So
having me.
before you're so welcome, before we kick off this interview, how has 2025 been for you so far?
2025 has been a blessing. I can't complain. I've had some success in other areas that I was trying to, really get out into, doing more of directing and writing. So I actually wrote, produced, and directed my first short film that I released back in January that actually won a couple awards in the film festivals around the world. It's called The Battle of Love. It is a short drama film that's based off my past relationship. So it just
Right.
focuses on like a modern day couple who go through, the struggles and battles of, modern day relationships with like, social media and having so many outlets. And so like this couple, they are basically they had a kid, had a son when they were kids themselves. And so it was a whole life change. And it got to the point where, you had the disconnect and, the communication and the trust. And it got to the point where, they started looking for attention elsewhere. And, the whole perception of like, grass is greener on the other side when really the grass is greener where you water it at. And so
Absolutely.
that was the message that I wanted to portray in that. So the character that I play of Jeff is just me in my young 20s. So that can be streamed right now on Roku, YouTube, and then also my Instagram page as well.
And when you act with such passion. And that's what I love about you. You put your heart and your all into it. And it looks like here in the comments, Anthony Riley, who I've had the pleasure of interviewing not too long ago on my show, said, such a great upcoming talent. This man is incredible.
I really appreciate that. I really do. Thank you so much, Anthony. I want to put stories out and things out that people can relate to or resonate with, and I want it to be real. And so that short film I put out was probably the most vulnerable I've ever been with an audience of people that I've, never met. Even people I know never knew this story. And so it was really important for me, like when I started writing this thing, I needed it to be something real and something that everyone can really relate to, whether they've been through it in the past, they're going through it, or if they know somebody going through the same type of situations. And so it was just really about this guy going on this journey and the lessons that he needs to learn and what he's learning and how to be better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I say this all the time. You, as an actor, your job is to tell people stories. And when you're going into that character mode, you're putting on the character's shoes. You're no longer yourself, you're another person when you're on that set. And it's important that people, the viewers, know that because we are watching it. And it's like, wow, I relate to this or know someone who's been through a similar situation. That's why it is key and important. And Anthony also says the Battle of Love, everyone, check it out, YouTube and Roku as well as Instagram. And make sure y'all follow and join. I'm gonna pin that. Look at that, you're getting so much
I
love.
really appreciate that. Thank you so much. It means a lot. All I want to do is really just tell stories and make people feel a certain type of way, whether it's good, bad, but just making them feel. And I think that's what the art I really enjoy about the art is just it brings everyone together and we can all relate to something that we've been through or going through.
Yeah, in some sort of way. Heartache, pain, and you said your last relationship, this creation that you made, this masterpiece, because I'm not even going to call it a film, it's a masterpiece. It's based
Thank you.
off of
Yes.
your life and your past relationship. But what was it like having to tap back into the memories? Because I know for a lot of actors, having to go to that place where you said you were also vulnerable, what was that like for you?
It was tough. Um, I've grown a lot since my 20s. This was me in my 20s. And
Yeah,
when I was going through the process of putting this together, it was, I had to look at myself in the mirror and take accountability for the things that I have done in my past, but also too, it was a nice reflection to really look back on and see how much I've grown and matured and learned from the things that I've done.
absolutely. Yes. So from then to now, in your 20s, what would you go back in time and tell that John, that version of John, coming out of this relationship, finding himself as a man, discovering himself as a man, moving on to the next phase and chapter in his life? Because going through a breakup or any divorce, anything, it can be hard for a lot of people. So for you, what would you go back in time and tell that John?
Honestly, I don't think I would, because if I didn't go
Mm,
through what I had to go through, I wouldn't be where I am today.
yeah.
That's the way I
And
look
what
at it.
else? And what else I love about you and you, Anthony, almost every man that I've interviewed this week is a family man. And it's like having to share that version of yourself with people. Being vulnerable, going back to when you were in your 20s is an open, how can I say it? It's like opening yourself to the world, opening
Yeah.
yourself to the world and showing people like, hey, I've been through this too. I've been in love. I fell in love. So what advice would you give to somebody who's discovering themselves after coming out of a relationship?
Life only gets better.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it can be difficult for a lot of people to move on from that chapter in their life and have to figure out, like, okay, what do I do next? What step do I take next? What is going to be the next phase and chapter for me? What am I going to do? Like, this person was good to me. We had our highs and our lows in this relationship. But it's important that we always go back and cherish these little things because they're a part of our life. They're a part of our story.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%. My next question for you is how do you stay centered with everything that is going on as a creator? Where do you pull your inspiration from and how do you stay so centered?
Honestly, I just enjoy life. Like I wasn't one of like actors and performers who like went to school and got a degree and got to and did all the training and theater training. It was just something that kind of just fell into my lap, and I just kind of fell in love with the arts of it. It was just a way for me to express myself. I've been through a lot in my life, so a lot of the things, the way I'm able to portray certain roles is like comes from like people I've known growing up, people I've been around, just life experiences. And so really I just take all the life experiences that I've had being around the people I've been around growing up, whether they're good or bad influences or whatever the case may be, they've all impacted my life at different times of my life in different ways. And so, coming into the art allows me to really express and tell these stories of people that I've known and things that I've been through. And so I'm just grateful to for this because I didn't go looking for this. This wasn't something that I wanted to do. I never thought about acting ever in my life until about 5 years ago when COVID happened, and it kind of just randomly happened. And then it was like I decided to take a risk, and then I fell in love with it. And then ever since then, I don't know. It's just been like pedal to the metal, and then here I am 5 years later.
And it's just like going back then, going back then to that chapter in your life to find out and discover who you are. It only helps you and encourages you even more. So if you could go back in time, what mistakes would you have rectified in your life, just in your journey, in your story?
Honestly, I don't look at things of like mistakes or anything like that. To me, it's like things fall into place. I kind of let the, chips where they fall, and, things happen for a reason. We go through certain things, certain situations, whether we understand it or not, if it's good or bad, it's all for a reason because my whole thing is like, the people who want to be great and want the finer and bigger things, whatever your goal is in the industry, you got to go through certain situations. You got to be tested, and you got to see if you're built for it. And so you go through these for a reason.
Absolutely. 100%. My goodness. On a scale from 1 to 10, how would you say you're satisfied with your life, with your career at this point in your life? Because as Anthony said in the comments, you are on your way and people are already buzzing about you. They're talking about you. You've already made making a name for yourself as a film director, and as an actor? So on a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate
That's a hard question because one thing I'll say, there was a time in my life in my career where I wish where I am now. Like I prayed for the days where I'm at now in my career.
it?
But
Yes.
I never get content. I'm always hungry, but I'm always grateful.
And that means you want more. That was
Yeah,
something that I said yesterday when I did my interview with my guest, Dax E. Shepherd. You want more, and a lot of us in this business, whether it may be filmmaker, director, producer, we are always wanting more. I create vision boards, and almost everything that I've manifested on that vision board, I do a mental checklist every single day as I walk past it. And I say, okay, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this.
yeah,
For you,
yeah.
do you ever find those moments and where you're sitting, you're thinking like, okay, what is going to be the next chapter for me? What do I want to work on next? Because you've already got the acting down pat. You do a phenomenal job of that. You've already got the directing aspect down pat. What else do you want more and you're manifesting for yourself in your career?
I think the next thing for me now, so I'm moving to Atlanta in August. So I'll be in Atlanta in August. I got one of my actor friends out there who are really doing this on a higher level of where I want to be at. So my next thing is just learning from the people who are doing what I want to do and where I want to be at they're at. And so, the next thing that I'm really working on with my management team is just now kind of just game planning and see what we can do for the new season because I have a goal, so I've auditioned for Tyler Perry a couple of his shows twice this year. One for the Oval, and then the other show was the Queen of Kings. I think it's
All the
something called like that.
queens, all the queens do, yes.
Yeah, so I auditioned for those two shows. So that was a great opportunity, and so now it's like, okay, the next step in my career is I got to take it up a notch, and so I'm making that move to Atlanta to be around people who artists and creators who are doing things I want to do on a higher level. So next step is just learning.
You're on your way. You are on your way, and I'm so proud of you, John. And I know your
Thank you.
mom is too, because I see you and your mom together, and we'll get into the women in your life in a sec. But for you as a creative, what advice would you give to somebody on putting their entire potential to use?
One thing that I've noticed since I've got into the industry is a lot of um, talent don't like to do the whole social media thing,
Hmm.
but it's a must. You have to be active on social media. Work on your craft. When you're not working on your craft, find something to work on. Find a new skill, something you can add to your arsenal. You know what I mean? Like anything you can do, you can add to your arsenal. Do that, and just ignore the outside noise. People are always going to have something to say, and just do you.
Maybe when you said that, it made me think of a quote from Rihanna. Rihanna has a quote that goes like this, and it says, "Do not focus on the chaos around you, but focus on getting to the finish line." And I live by that mantra. So when you stay grounded and you are surrounded by people who uplift you in many different ways, you can go a long way in this business. And it's amazing that you have colleagues that are backing you out. That brings, we'll get to the women that are backing you, your mother and so many others. But these are the things that people need to go a long way in this business, especially the support of our parents, because some of them don't know about the business. I know my mother didn't know about, hosting a platform or anything and what to do. My parents always informed us to make sure that you have a backup plan. So that brings me to the next part of this conversation, which is the women in your life. March is International Women's History Month, and
Man,
us and our achievements we brought to the world. You have, and John, you have to give me 5 things. What makes the women in your life so dynamic? What makes your
I
mom
can't
so
even. I don't even know if I can give you five things. I got a whole list. I can give you more. I mean, so I grew up with a single mom and two sisters. I have three sisters. And so I grew up around all women. Me and my mom, it was just me and her growing up. I mean, we came here from Hawaii. She sacrificed a lot to give me a life and better opportunities. She worked two jobs growing up, watched her going to a job in the morning, 8 hours, get off and go to another 8 hour shift at night. And she did everything. She is my biggest inspiration to everything I've done in my life. She has given me more knowledge and instilled so much greatness into me more than any material, money, or anything that can do. So the support system that I have from my mom and my sisters, I'm so grateful and blessed for, because the day that I told them that that I wanted to do this, they're like, "Oh yeah, go do that." And they've had my back ever since. And so every film premiere, every time I've needed a reader, shoot, my mom helped me. My very first big audition I did for Angela Bassett back in 2022. And it was a 10-page audition, and my mom was my reader. So anytime I need her to help me read, she helps me. Even this past Saturday, I had a 12-page audition for a big network for a lead role for a movie. And I called her, I was like, I need a reader. Anytime I need them for anything, they show up without me even asking. And so they are the backbone to keeping me on track. When I'm not on track, they keep me on track. And when I'm on track, they keep me going. So, I mean, I don't know what 5 words, if you caught anything out of those, but that's really how I would, but yeah, and then when it comes to that backup plan, no backup plan. We all know they all have a hand in what I do. My mom is like, anytime I do any type of posting on social media, she proof checks my posts. My sisters do like my art stuff. They all got a hands in it. So I got a team, beside me, helping me move and elevate. And so they're always there. So I can ask for anything more.
It's remarkable. A mother's bond with her child is unbreakable. And I said this yesterday to Dax, because he says that he grew up with a lot of women around him, from his wife, his daughter, his mother, his grandmother, and his aunt. And we were saying how a mother's bond with her child is unbreakable. A mother is like a black diamond. And the black diamonds are the toughest to cut. We know about the other diamonds, but black diamonds are the rarest and the toughest to cut. You have a hard time doing. A mother's bond with her child is unbreakable. And
Yeah, that's twin right there.
yes, my mother means the world to me. I don't know where I would be without her and my grandmother. My grandmother is 80 years old and she's still living. I'm 31. And she has the same type of energy that I have, where I'm energetic, I'm ready to go, I'm hyper. I love to have a good time. My grandmother is the same exact way, but she will also check you and let you know, like, hey, this is what you need to do. Whenever we need advice, we go back to her. She's the matriarch of the family. And my mother's always been that rock and that support system. And I don't know where I would be without these two women, as well as my mom's sisters, my aunts, my sisters. I have two sisters. So, and then my girlfriend. So I'm surrounded by amazing women, and we just feed off of each other's energy. It's just how can I say it? It's like a rainbow of girl power. So it's like you're getting all of this extra, but at the same time, we have to cherish these women because they mean a lot to us. They're very precious. And I know that your mother's very proud of you. I know your sisters are very proud of you. I'm proud of you. So add me to the list of women that are supporting you and backing you up to
You
everything.
added to the list.
Yes. And it's important. It's important. So I had to ask my guys, all of my guys that I've interviewed this week, how do they feel about us? How do they feel about women? You know, and some of the answers that I've gotten from guys were saying, we are resilient. Women, we are resilient. We're powerful. And we always bounce back from the worst. And that is true. We could be having, and I said this in one of my interviews, I said we could have 102-degree fever and still walking around in stilettos and you not even know what is going on with us. We will still give you the business, whether it's at that boardroom meeting, whether it's shopping, whether it's wherever, we will still let you have it. But the thing about it is, we have to keep recognizing this. Women will always be here. We will always continue to support the men in our lives, and we will always, vice versa. We feed off of each other's energy. So it's powerful. So as it pertains to mothers, mothers know it's that nurturing instinct. Mothers know everything. And I pretty
Yeah.
sure your mother, she's like, okay, what's going on? They know it. You don't even have to say a word. You walk in, your energy just shifts and change, and they pick that up
Yep.
instantly. My mother will even see things. She just like, what's wrong? Who made you upset? Who did this to you? And they will
Yeah.
go to bat for you. They're very protective as well too.
Oh,
So,
I don't wish nobody have to ever cross the path of my sisters and mom.
oh, very,
No.
very protective. And
Yeah.
rightfully so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rightfully so. It's just like when we were born and when our mothers had us. It's just like, okay, they're holding us, they're nursing us, taking care of us, and they're saying things to us, and we remember those things like, I'll protect you. I won't let anything happen to you. And that's what a mother will do with her child. And it goes back to even in nature with animals. You go and you try to touch a baby bird in the bird's nest, oh, that mama bird coming for you. So it's the same with us in real life. Our mothers love us and they protect us, and it's important that we cherish and honor these women. So I had to ask. Now, speaking of lead roles here, sir, I was reading, and you landed your first lead role as Eric Olson on the Amazon Prime original movie, A Haunting in Ravenwood. So tell us about that. What was it like getting the call back to this project?
So that was my very first lead role in a full-length feature movie. That was actually an offer role that I got. So I actually got offered that role. I actually met the director on set when I was on another project, and that was probably this is today actually my mom's favorite movie I've ever done. Um, that that role was crazy because I had to go to a really dark place. It actually kind of messed me up a little
Ooh,
bit.
okay.
He was a very narcissistic, controlling, manipulative husband. So the movie takes place about this couple, Mary and Eric. Eric was married to a woman before, so his wife died, and he ended up taking over her estates and all her money and ended up moving into her house with his new wife. And as they're in the house, she's starting to hear voices, coming to find out it's the wife from his previous marriage. And this character was so dark that it got to a point to where like I couldn't even separate from him because it was about a month of filming and we lived on set. So it was 13-hour days for about a month. And the movie was produced by, so his name is Calvin McCarthy. He's actually one of my great friends now. He was the director, producer, and writer for the film. So Calvin McCarthy, he trusted me in this role, knowing that this was my very first lead in a full-length film. But he said he saw something and he believed I could do it. And so, working with that cast and crew, 7th Street Productions, I do have to give a major shout out because if it wasn't for him taking a chance on my very first movie, because that was like one of my first big ones. I don't know what my trajectory would have been like without him taking a chance on putting me out there. So to the whole team of 7th Street Productions, my film family, I love you guys. Thank you. So yeah, you guys can check it out. Amazon Prime, Tubi, Apple TV. It's kind of everywhere on the platform. So you guys get a chance.
Yes, 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 yes. Make sure you guys go and check out this film and support everything that John is doing because you have more things that are coming up as well too. So
I got quite a few things out there. I mean, most of my stuff you can watch is on Apple TV, Amazon Prime. What is it? HGTV network. Kind of spread out. So I got stuff here and there out there.
absolutely. Make sure you guys are going and checking that out and supporting all of the things that John is doing here. I'm so proud of you. You are going to go a long way because you are consistent. And in this business, it takes consistency. I do this platform every day, Monday through Friday. And it takes a lot out of you, but it is so worth it because I love
It
what I
is.
do. I love being able to hear people's stories. And I'm gonna go back for a minute. Where you said you had to go back to that dark space. Not a lot of actors can do that. Where you're going to a place where it's like, okay, oh, I'm gonna have to pull back because this is really too deep for me. And something like that has happened, and I'm pretty sure you've heard of it. Heath Ledger, the
Yep,
Joker,
the
like
Joker.
literally had to tap into this character. Like he was
Yeah,
nailing to the other characters in the film, but he wanted to know that this is about business. This is what it is. But
yeah.
it also took so much out of him. And
And
not
I got.
just, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was gonna say I got so deep into it to a point where like we shot one of the most intense scenes, and after the director hit cut, I blacked out. I didn't even know what we filmed. I had no idea what we just filmed. And he's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I think so." And so like I had to go take like a called cut early, had to go take like a night to just decompress, come back the next day refreshed. But that was probably like the last night of our shoot. Like the last 3 days, I was really, really method with the character and probably went a little bit more darker than I should. And so now, I mean, that's been almost 5 years now. Now it's easy. I can snap in and out. I can still go deep, but I know how to come back to myself after. So I've learned over some time.
Yes, that's key because going to that place, to that dark place, it can take a lot out of you. It truly can.
Mentally, yeah, mentally it takes out a lot.
And now, Tim, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Another example of that would be Lupita and Us. Like she literally said she had to go and detox herself from this character because the character was so toxic. And it was a horror film. So you know horror films, you're really having to go there. What is the most craziest experience you've ever had while on set? Other than this project, have you ever had an experience where it's just like I have to pull back in and like, okay, I'm no longer the character. I'm John now.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that I had to go into a dark place, but I did have to tap into another side of me that I don't see often. So I did a movie called Conjuring the Beyond. So that one's like on Apple TV and stuff. So that one I did back in 2023. I played this character called Porter. I would like to say is like my alter ego, who I think I used to be. So like he's like this really like arrogant, cocky, like super like jock type of dude. He's like that guy who walks into the room and we're like, oh great, he's here. But he's like comical in a way. So I got to tap into like that type of stuff of like things I would normally never do or say. Because he's like very flirtatious to some of the scenes. I'm like going through the scene, I'm like, I would never say something this crazy, but I'm having fun with it. So like, yeah, so like that one, and then like after that, like, because a lot of people like they don't know I'm more reserved and kind of just to myself, like I'm a people observer. But when I tap into certain roles, people wouldn't think that.
And that is key. Even in life, you have to have your reservations about certain things. You have to sit back and observe. And that's how it should be. Now, speaking of the things that you like to do, a little birdie told me that you love basketball. So tell us about that in your spare time, in
Yeah.
your downtime.
That was actually something I grew up playing on a very serious level my whole life. Basketball honestly saved my life. It kept me out of trouble, kept me off the streets. I played from the day I could walk all the way through high school. I mean, yeah, I played all 4 years. I played varsity here down here in Seattle. I played with some guys. If you watch the NBA, a lot of them I played with in high school. Um, so if like I don't know, I'll just name off some people like Zach Levine, he plays for the Kings. If you know like Isaiah Thomas, Nate Robinson, like all those guys who are from Seattle. Like, I grew up playing with a lot of those guys. But yeah, basketball saved my life. That was my very first love. And I had aspirations beyond that, but life happens. And it's funny you mentioned that because I actually got to live out my dream last year. Actually, on this day of last year, I was in Phoenix. I signed a 2 movie picture deal for a basketball movie. I'm actually playing he plays for the Phoenix Suns, so it's like a crime drama type or crime thriller type of movie where like he gets in trouble with these bookies and he's supposed to like throw the game away and he doesn't and then gets himself into some trouble. So that was actually kind of crazy. Matter of fact, I don't have the jersey here with me. I might actually hold on, let me see. I might actually have the jersey from the movie. Um, okay. I don't, but if you go on my Instagram or IMDb, the movie's called That Day on 101st Street, which is supposed to be releasing sometime next year. So that was pretty cool. Like someone who grew up playing ball, and that's all I did. Like anyone who knew me before I was the person I am now Where's John? Probably at the basketball courts. Drive by, he's there. My mom, same thing. And I'd spend all day and night. So like that was my first love. I don't get to play as much, so I'm really more tapped into I use my love I had for the game to tap into my creative side. And so now I'm just writing, creating, doing what I can, staying busy. That's my outlet now.
And and not only that, but you wear another hat. You're a dad. You're raising three boys. So have they picked up this acting bug from you yet?
Well, my kids actually live in Florida, so they're in Florida. But my son, my oldest, he actually did. He actually did his first movie with me 2 years ago. It's on Tubi. Yeah, it got picked up by a pretty big production company. So he actually did.
Yes.
Kid is a natural talent, but they just be kids and do sports. Like I never forced them or told them they needed to do this. He kind of just like brought it up to me one day. He was like, I want to try this, and I was like, okay. So got him into a movie, and then after that, he just wanted to go back and do sports. I'm like, okay, that's cool too. I prefer you do that than come into this industry so young because he was a hot commodity. Like when I started putting him out there, agents and directors were reaching out about him. I'm like, yeah, no, no,
You got to draw that line somewhere.
go back and play
Um,
sports.
yes, that and a parent saying, "You want to get into the industry? No, you got to go to school, become a doctor or a lawyer." And Brandy's one of my favorite singers. Her daughter also sings as well too. And I was
Yeah,
watching an interview with Arsenio Hall. It was her mom, and they were talking about her daughter singing. She said, "Oh no, no, she's going to school. She's gonna become a dentist. She's gonna become a doctor." And her mother, Sonia Norwood, said the same exact thing. But then you see, Sarah is all grown up, and she is out here making her own music, trailing her own path. So definitely let
that's
them
what it's all about. You got
doing
to
it.
let these kids create their own paths. Like, so you
Yeah.
guys can do whatever you want.
Yes, and then if they like it, if it's acting is something they want to do, there's so many courses out here that they can take. There's so many classes that they can take out here as well too. And then with your
Well,
experience,
my goal with that is once they do become something of interest they want to do at some point later on. My goal, my career should already be established to where you guys want to do this. I can produce it, I can direct it, I can do all this stuff. So my goal is eventually, they get through high school, maybe they want to do it after, so in the next 10 to 15 years, my name should be a household name. That's my goal. Household name, whatever that means. But it should be to a point where my name holds our last name holds enough weight to where they can do whatever they want just because.
and that you will. That you will. Your name is already buzzing as Anthony came in here and hyped you up and said so much about you, as well as others. They're reposting, they're sharing your work, and they're seeing your craft, your potential, and that's what draws people directly to you. So when you have a sole purpose, you go for that sole purpose and you continue on with it. And you're gonna go a long way in this business because you're booking left and right. A lot of people are wanting to work with you. And that's why I wanted to interview you on my platform because I see your potential, I see your drive, and it's important that we continue to tell our stories. I admire filmmakers who are out here doing the world of service, which is telling everyday people's stories. There are so many people who went through breakups, who've encountered life, who've encountered hard times, who don't know the full steps of being a parent. All of these things that tie into life, but it's helped them along the way. So thank you and keep doing this. Keep going.
There's one thing I forgot to mention. So, I recently wrote, and you guys should check this out. It's pinned on my Instagram page. It's a video. It's pinned on the very top. Um, so I wrote a monologue about a couple weeks ago when I was in the studio getting my headshots done, and it's a suicide prevention message. I don't know where it came from in my head, but I just decided to write this and film it. It's about 4 minutes. I've had some feedback from some people that I've never encountered before. One guy told me that, this saved him because he had thought about committing suicide. I had someone else
Ooh,
say like a couple other things, and so I really just wanted to put this out there because I know we've all have thoughts in some shape or form of, suicide. And so I wanted to put this out there just to help, who I can. If this can help one person, that's great. You know, that's all I wanted to do. You know, like I said, I just want to put things out that can move people in whatever way that is for them. And so if you guys have time, I'd appreciate it if you guys just go check out the message that I put out. It's about 4 minutes long.
And it is powerful. That's how I actually found you, was through that message. It's everywhere, and people are
Oh,
talking about it. It is so
okay.
prevalent that
Wow.
you've put out a message like this, because in this time where mental health is at an all-time high, there's so many
Hmm.
people who are experiencing loss, who are experiencing all of these different things. This message has helped them, and that's exactly how I connected to you, through that
Wow.
message.
Thank you.
Someone reached out, and I think it was Anthony or someone else that I was following that reshared your video. So we
Wow.
need
Okay.
more and more of this, to know that people in this world are not alone, and that there are so many resources out here that can help people who are having these dark thoughts. I know for all of us, it might seem like a dark cloud over our heads, but the key thing is to not let that dark cloud be there forever. Talk to someone. There are so many people you can talk to and you can reach out to. And we've been programmed, us as people of color, as black people, as whatever, we've been programmed to keep things inside and harbor these things. Hold on to them. Talk to someone. Your message can save someone's life.
I've always
And
had a
that,
problem talking about it too. So my way of talking to somebody is what I shared with you guys, the things I write. That's my way.
ooh, keep sharing the stories. Keep sharing the stories. Keep writing.
That's
Writing,
my way.
when you sit and you write and you're releasing everything on paper. I have a bunch of diaries, so I'm always going through and reading my entries. Like, what was I thinking this day? What was, my emotion on this day? What could I have done to do better? And it's all about self-reflection, self-preservation, and accountability for ourselves as well too. Like,
Yeah.
what do I want to do next? What could I have done different to been in a situation? You can't take back the past, but you can worry about the future. So it's always good to stay centered and surround yourself with like-minded people. And you
Yeah.
yourself, you stay centered. You meditate, you write. Writing, I know a lot of people, when 2025 first hit, a lot of people said we're going to start doing gratitude journals. And I think that it is time for us to continue to put those pens to use. Put that pen to paper, whatever you're feeling, put it on paper. But don't take
Agreed.
your life. That's not the solution. It's not the solution. But whatever you're feeling in that dark temporary period, that period where you feel hopeless, you feel despair, you feel lost, you feel all of these different things. My advice to anybody would be to talk about it, to write about it. And I've interviewed a lot of musicians as well too. And I'm gonna say this. Um, Musicians are like the doctors who administer medicine to us. And by their way of administering medicine, it could be a song you could put on. And that song takes you to a certain place where it's just like, okay, he's saying what I'm feeling, or he's saying what I'm feeling. I can relate to this song. I can relate to this single on this album. So find your outlet that works for you to release the depression, the everything. Because if you hold on to that dark cloud forever, it will wear you out.
Yeah,
It'll,
I've been there.
and I know a lot of people, we all are feeling despair. We're feeling hopefulness, but I want you all to find a sense of joy. And that brings me to my last question before we turn the table, because John here is going to get to ask me some questions. I'm poking around in all of his business, but he gets to poke around in all of my business at the end. So my last question for you is, as a writer, as an actor, self care, and also self love. What does that mean to you? And what are your methods of self care? What do you do on your downtime?
Downtime?
Mhm.
I don't get a lot of that, to be honest. um, I mean, when I do get it, I typically try to make Sundays that day. I just do absolutely nothing, absolutely
Reset.
nothing, like nothing. But honestly, like even in my downtime, I'm still writing. Like it's just therapeutic for me. Like I'm still doing something. So I guess downtime for me is just like phone goes on D and I just don't talk to anybody for a couple hours or whatever it may be, so I can get my work done.
Reset Sundays.
Yeah.
Sundays for me is like it's nothing more than picking up a book, reading, writing, if not that, cooking. There are so many outlets that we can take up that can help us relax in our downtime and our self-care time when it's us, because we always have to sit back and reflect on the present and be in the present moment on what do we want to do? How are we going to take on this? It's all about finding your soul purpose. All right, fashion dolls. Y'all know what time it is. It is time to turn those tables. And John here is going to ask me some questions. Fashion, beauty, life, whatever he wants to know from my newest viewers out there, you'll get to know a little bit about me through John's questioning. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it on down to John here. Take it away, John.
All right. Well, how did you get started with your podcast?
Started Style by Stevie right after high school in 2016. And luckily, it wasn't called Style by Stevie. It was called Weekdays Topics. And I would do it at 11 o'clock every day. And I would sit with people. I would sit with people who are actors, who are musicians, and just find out their life story, just find out what it's like. And then just took a liking to his own from then there on. And we've come a long way. So right after high school, I didn't have no experience. And I was sitting brainstorming in my room one day and I said, okay, it's got to have a name. Style by Stevie, because I love fashion. I love entertainment. I love to bring joy to people. It needs to be a name. So Style by Stevie was perfect. And I know when a lot of people see it, they think style, fashion, Style by Stevie. But it's so much more to that. It draws you in though. My name
Yeah,
draws you in.
it's
But
catchy.
that's the first thing that people think is fashion. Oh, it's gonna be fashion. It's gonna be, yeah, you're gonna get that. But I also want you to take away from the message of not just me, but my guests that come on the platform as well too. Because it's not just me sharing my story, bits and pieces of me, but it's my guests sharing their story as well. And I want people to be able to understand that and take that with them as well too. Building up confidence, and not only just that, but bringing up joy.
I love that. That's dope. That's really cool. Um, so you've had so you didn't have any experience doing podcasts before. What did you do before that?
What did I do before that? Well, how I
Or
got, yeah,
yeah,
how did I build myself up to learn this?
yeah,
Actually, in school, I took public speaking because I was a mess. I was afraid to speak in front of people. I was shy. And my teacher, she made the whole entire class recite the lines of Shakespeare. Was it A Midsummer Night's Dream? One of those. Or Othello, which you guys can see Denzel Washington, which is
yep.
crazy. Shout out to him. He's doing his thing. Um, we had to recite the lines to Shakespeare in front of the class, and I was nervous, but I was like, okay, just do it, just get it over with. My friend, because at the time I took up was taking up cosmetology, and we sat by each other in the classroom. We sat like approximately near each other. She was in another row though, because our desks were like almost there. But we had to get up and do it in front of the class. And of course, she made me cackle and laugh. I'm sitting up there cackling and laughing at her. And then it came to my time to do it. And I'm just like, okay, I was nervous, but I did it. And that helped me sharpen my skills to get up and speak in front of people. Not just that, but I remember fifth grade, we had to do an assignment where we had to take home English language arts, like a newspaper article, like we were journalists. And that kind of also helped me sharpen my skills. So, no experience, just from learning that in school on how to react to people, how to be able to have a conversation with people, conversating with my peers. That's what helped me build myself up to be as the fashion dolls would say, the hostess with the mostest. That's what they would call me sometimes. But and I received it. It made me break out of my shell. So I taught myself. No experience. I taught myself.
That's basically how I learned through COVID was YouTube. Here's the craziest story about how this all even started, which a lot of people don't know, but I went on a podcast and talked about this about a year ago. So it was December 20th, 2019, and there was this showcase in LA for like new actors. They're looking for new talent. So mind you, I've been acting, like just practicing monologues probably for like 3 months. I've never been on a set. I've never performed in front of anyone but my mirror. I didn't know what a self tape was. I didn't have headshots. I didn't have a single thing on my resume. So I flew to LA on a limb for a showcase for 2 days. I had a suitcase, $30 in my wallet, and nowhere to stay. But I was like, something's telling me I just need to go. So I went to the showcase, and basically there was about 30 to 40 of the industry's best managers and agents looking for people for talent to sign. So we had to perform a 1 minute monologue. And what I failed to realize was I needed headshots. I didn't bring headshots, didn't have those. And so I went on stage and did my monologue. And when they called my name up, I was like, oh crap, like this is happening. So I get on the stage lights turn on, and then there's a crowd of about 300 people in front of me. So you had all the managers and agents in the front row, then you had all the contestants and their families and everybody else behind them. And it was the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever experienced in my life. I sped through that monologue so fast. I just wanted to get off the stage. And then the next day was the callbacks, which for those who don't know what a callback is like, if someone's interested in you, like a manager or agent, they'll call you back for another talk. So I had zero callbacks, by the way. Not one. Not one callback. So in the meantime, like before that happened, I had to find somewhere to stay. So I slept in the hotel lobby the first night. And then the next day I went and did it. So went on a limb, had nothing on me. And that whole plane ride back was like, I can either say this isn't for me and just move on with my life, or I can use this as a time to redeem myself. And ever since then, that moment sticks in my head ever since. Ever since then, I've just nonstop working on my craft to become better and better in every single area. So that's funny. We both kind of learned in the same way.
You train yourself. You
Yeah,
learn and you train yourself in this business.
yeah.
And you come in like, okay, I'm going to get this. I'm going to get this. And these casting directors will humble you real quick. You go in there, they will let you know about yourself.
Oh
But
yeah.
but what I love about it is the drive that people have because you're following your passion. You're going to these casting calls and you're having to wait in line, and there's probably like 1,000 people in that line. The line is wrapped all around, all the way around the curve, and there's so many people that could be going for the same role as you. But the beauty of it is what you just said, getting that call back. You got the role, or getting that email that you got the role, or you got the part that you wanted. And it could be, you're going to get a no. You're going to get some no's in this business. And
One
I've got
thing
some no's.
one thing I've learned is like, you're not going into this audition to book a role. You're going in there to perform, just to be you. See what you can do. Like my advice I always give, like especially for actors and actresses coming up, like have fun with it. Have fun, audition, and forget. Like I go into every audition just to try things out to see what works and what doesn't, and just have fun with it. And as soon as I'm done with the audition, I rip that script up and I throw it away. Then I move on with my day.
Absolutely. 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 And my advice to anybody that's looking to get into this business, because I did a film as well too. I did a horror film, but this was back around during the pandemic. It's called The Assistant, who reconnected, and you guys can check it out. And we did it virtually. I had no acting experience, and I went in and did the table read. And my co-star Roman, and shout outs to my brother Scott Valentine, and others were just like, do it from your heart, be original, because he wrote the character in my likeness. I played a college professor in this film, and you guys see how my hair is long today. The director, the creator of that film, he said, we're gonna cut your hair. And you know how women are about our hair. And at the time, what was so crazy is I got the role on my birthday. He gave me the role on my birthday. He was like, "How would you like to do a film?" I said, "Film? I'll advertise for you if you want me to advertise. I'll interview the stars." And they was like, "No, no, no. We want you to be in the film." So he said, "Here's the catch, though. We want you to have short hair." And the reason why, there's a reason why he did that, because he didn't want me to look like one of the students there. He wanted me to look like a college professor. And plus, me and my co-star Roman in the film, we had an exchange. It was pretty funny, where you know how teachers always disciplining their students, you know, and things like that. It was pretty funny, but executed it, nailed it. People still to this day talk about it. It was great, and I would do it again. But I love hosting. I love doing this. So it took me to a whole different world. So again, putting on that character's shoes, you're wearing that character's cross, and you're transforming into another person. And
Yep,
that's
and
what
you
I
have to surrender.
absolutely, absolutely. But she was a no nonsense type of woman. So she had bits and pieces of my personality as well too. So he wrote it almost like my personality, but it was a little bit out of my element. And I would do it again. If it was tomorrow and this happened, I would do it all again. I loved it.
So my last question for you is, what's next?
Well, and Dax asked me this question yesterday too. Everybody's like, "When are you going to do a podcast? When are you going to do a podcast? When are you going to do a podcast?" Um, in person, people want to see us in person, and I think that that is key and critical and important, because when you're talking to someone, I'm a hugger. I'm a hugger. I love to embrace people. A lot of people want to be able to feel that. One of my guests came on and told me that you have a very strong chi. You have a very strong aura. Like, people just, what is it about people that they bounce and gravitate towards you? Because I have a very nurturing, warm spirit. It's very motherly in a way, or very like a sister, or very more so like a best friend. When I created this platform, I wanted it to be that way. Like, the friend is always going to tell you and guide you along the way. So definitely in-person podcasts. I would love to do that. Um, don't hold me to it, y'all. I have to do a lot of planning. Have to figure out, what do I want the set to look like if we're going to do this in person. Because I'm inviting you into my home. I'm inviting you into my space. So
Right.
all of those things go into creating a safe space and element for your guests to come on. Like Michelle Obama and her brother have a podcast together, and she's been in the White House for 8 years. So it's like you're stepping into a whole new land. And when you're being this vulnerable, it goes back to what you said in the beginning. You're sharing yourself to the world. So I want my guests to feel the same way. The same energy that we're having now by doing this interview virtually is the same thing you're going to feel. What else is next is, I look at Drew Barrymore, and I love Drew Barrymore. I think she's one of the most stylish women in the world. um, how she has her merchandise in the stores. I would love to have makeup. I would love to have hair products. I would love to have fragrance. I would love to have all of these things. And I look at Rihanna. So Rihanna's taking over the beauty world by storm. So that's what I want to do. I want to do what Drew Barrymore and Rihanna are doing, and that's have my name on products in stores, in Ulta and Sephora. And I'm manifesting that for myself in the future at the rate that I'm going, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, your makeup always looks good. Your style is always on point." Every single interview. Those are the reviews that I've been getting from people. And I want to continue to keep it up, keep doing what I'm doing. So that's what I see for myself in the future, and I'm manifesting it. Um, Definitely more hosting, of course, more hosting. But on other platforms, if someone asked me to fill in a guest co-host, I would love to do it on other platforms. And more acting. I would love to do another acting role. The assistant was just a teaser for me to get into the business as an actress. But I would love to do more. I would love to do more. And I see more in the future for myself in this platform. And not just that, but November, we're booked all the way up until November. So more interviews, more amazing guests, and I would love to bring you back on, John. So it's a
I
lot on
would
the
love to come
horizon.
back.
And writing for Original Magazine. You guys know I write for Original Magazine UK, which is a publication in the UK. Shout outs to Mickey Sola. I'm one of the fashion columnists there. So it's a lot that I have going on. I wear so many hats, and I don't want to just stop there. I want to do more. I want to expand in the beauty and fashion world and create products in my likeness. So yeah.
Love that.
And another thing I would say to that last question is to anybody, it's never too late to dream, to plan, write it down. Um, so many people start off late in the business, but it's never too late. There's never a limit on passion and
It's
following your
it's
desires.
never too
Never,
late. You're always on time.
absolutely. And a lot of people will say, well, I've gotten too old. Ageism is a thing in this business as well, too.
There's
But
a role for
listen,
everybody, no matter what your demographic is as far as age or gender or whatever it is. There's
yes,
a role for everybody.
absolutely. Do what works for you. You're never too old for something. I've read stories where this man was, I think, wow, he was up there, I think, in either his 80s or his 90s, and he went back to college. So that just goes you living proof that you're never too old. It's never too late, as
Nope.
John just said, for you to go after your passions and desires. And I want everyone to live life through fire. And what I mean by that is, I want you all to be mindful, plan ahead, write down the things you want to work on in your next chapter and in your story, because we all have a story. And there's so many layers to us. It's like peeling an onion. You're peeling all of those layers of you off and unveiling it to the world. And
Yeah.
again, the key thing is vulnerability. You're being vulnerable. You're sharing yourself with people. People want to know more about you. I'm a mysterious person. I'm a Scorpio. And we know the Scorpios are like the wild cards. They just like Scorpios are crazy. Well, a little bit. A little bit. I had a girlfriend. I ran into one of my girlfriends that I went to school with over the weekend. And she said, "Are you still showing out? You still being crazy?" I said, "Yes." I have a nephew now. I have a 2 year old nephew on his way to 2 years old now. So my thing is this: I love to live. I love to laugh. I love to have fun. I love to be adventurous, not just through fashion, but in life as well too. If there's something that you've never tried, try it, because just as fast as life has been given to us here now, and you've gained all of these things, they can be taken from you in an instant. Live life to the fullest. And most importantly, do it with joy. Do it with joy. That will do.
Absolutely.
So before we close, John, or if you had any other questions, what gems would you give to people? Because we touched on a number of things, from mental health, from loving loss, to moving forward, to finding out the next chapter of where people can go in their lives. What advice would you give to your supporters and your followers?
Trust the process. It's a marathon, not a race.
Absolutely. And it could take a little bit longer, but I want you all to be mindful. I want you all to be hopeful. I want you all to be encouraged as well. And today's final thought comes from Winston Churchill. And he says, continuous effort, not strength or intelligence, is the key to unlocking our potential. And this is about fear. So we have to overcome our fears. And my colleague, Bubs the God, just had a conversation on his channel yesterday about this, where he was talking about stepping out on fear. It can be difficult for a lot of us, it can be challenging. But the key thing is to just jump. Sometimes you just have to jump. And
The hardest step is always taking that first step. But once you do, you've already you've already killed the hardest part about it. You've already done it. Taking that step is always the hardest part to do. Once you take that step, the hard part's over. And then it's the consistency and discipline.
absolutely, absolutely. And I want to leave you guys with that. I want to leave you all with that, so that we can go into 2025 being our best versions of ourselves. We're already here in March. Next thing you know, will be April. But I want you all to remind yourself on a daily that you have to unlock your full potential. You have it. You have everything you need, and then some. Add tax. So, without further ado, fashion dolls, John, This was a dynamic conversation.
Thank
I would love to have
you.
you on again in the fall, and we're going to set that up. I'm going to send you the information over the dates that I have available. But let
Please.
everyone know where they can follow you and check you out.
Yes, I mean, you can, if you want to see most of like what I have going on, I'm very active on my Instagram. That's where all my business is. So I am John Megason for Instagram. But I also make a lot of content with my mom on TikTok. So if you guys want to see mom and son duo on TikTok, I am John Megason. Go check out our videos. So
Mm. Y'all make sure y'all go and check John out. Support him. Check out the films that he has out right now. Tubi, Apple TV, every streaming outlet and platform. Make sure you guys go and support. Joining me tomorrow, Men's Fashion with Travis J. Winters. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow at 4. And I will see you then. Until then, Fashion Dolls, thank you all for tuning in today, and I will see you all tomorrow.
thank
Till next time.
you.
And John, thank you. I had a
I,
great time.
I do too. Thank you.